In second place in my soap opera rankings for January 2023 is Shortland Street, which returned from its Christmas break at the end of January, so only really a week and a half worth of episodes to talk about, so not a lot to go over. And Shortland Street doesn't get first place again like it was in December, but once again, it was only on for a week and a half, and that week and a half was honestly pretty much non-stop drama, for better or for worse. I have a couple of complaints, but let's talk about why Shortland Street has been so good for several months now. They just have a lot of stories that I think have been well written, and sure, they've had some, big events. The fire burns down Shortland Street, and it picks back up a few months after that event, I think, where a lot of the other doctors and nurses are working at a new hospital, St. Catherine's, a hospital who less about caring for the people and getting them help at all costs, and more about just making money. I liked that touch. It kind of showed the heart of what Shortland Street Hospital has mostly always been about. Now, it seems like Shortland Street's going to be done for, never able to reopen because it just doesn't have the funding. So, of course, Chris is going to step up to the plate. Chris has a money in funds. He has a trust fund. He has to go to his brother, though, to get some of that trust fund money to reopen Shortland Street, which is what ends up happening by the end of the month, to reopen the hospital. But Rebecca has been playing power plays here. Rebecca, of course, the head of the Bright Shine cult, like church, that's been the story they've been doing here, which I think is honestly one of the main stories that I've been enjoying, because it's very much different than what we're getting on any other soap opera, having a cult story going on. The cult, of course, responsible for Scott, who was a crazy person who ended up killing Wilder, and now Maeve was kind of getting the blame for what happened with that whole story. She starts this new year in prison. She does get out by the end of it, with Rebecca wanting to help her. Of course, Rebecca acting like she wants Maeve's help to kind of learn the ropes at Shortland Street. And that's kind of Rebecca giving Maeve a second chance. I don't know if Rebecca feels bad that somebody at Bright Shine was responsible for her son's death. If you don't remember, Rebecca is the one that actually killed Scott at the end of the season finale. But the month of January ends with Maeve telling Rebecca she knows that Scott's responsible for Wilder's death, and that happened at Bright Shine, and she wants to find out the reasons for it. So we will continue the Bright Shine story at the start of 2023. I'm glad that they didn't end the story at the end of 2022. I thought they would. I thought that would be the big event to end the season, but it was not the case. This story continues because I do think it has a lot of legs, and the Maeve side of things can be very interesting as well. Another interesting turn, which is giving me 80s American soap opera. We have a burn victim from the fire who has basically burns all over his body, including his face. So he has bandages everywhere, including his face. He doesn't have a memory, doesn't know who he is. Madonna's taking an interest in this person because she thinks it could be Mark. That was kind of her relationship towards the end of 2022, which was not a good relationship. So I don't know why Madonna is doing this, but I've talked about it before. Madonna can be a very weird and annoying individual. So I don't know if it's just a hope that this is Mark in these bandages that doesn't remember himself. But Madonna is now taking care of this character. They're calling him Terry. But I do like the story. Like I said, it's giving very much 80s Days of Our Lives to me. Not as good as of a story as that one on Days was, but still very interesting. TK's still been going through cancer treatment, and that's one of the reasons why Rebecca has been able to do a power play at Shortland Street. Even though it's been nonstop drama, I kind of felt like this story wasn't really necessary. We already have TK going through cancer treatment, so he's in a weakened state, and then his daughter and his daughter's boyfriend is like dealing with some weird bullies or young gang, and TK tries to help and then gets beat up because he's weakened from his cancer treatment. I mean, it was nice and dramatic, but we didn't need it, honestly. We had a bar fight break loose. It's like, I'm telling you, the drama, the show was only back for a week and a half in January, and there was nothing but drama. We had a bar fight that Lovely ends up getting stabbed by a bottle, and she's pregnant, so they have to not only save her life, but the baby's life. So yeah, non-stop drama, but one of the kind of anticlimactic things that happened in January was Damo returning in very anticlimactic fashion. Of course, last year, Damo was hit by a bus, thought to be dead, ends up surviving, but is brain dead. But then a miracle happens and he has functions back in his brain. And now, apparently, he is doing much better, walking and talking and everything. No Desi in sight, which I'm kind of glad for, because that couple gets on my nerves. But I just feel very odd about the Damo story overall. It was a shocking turn of events. They wrote it very well, making it seem like he was going to be dying, only for him to survive, and now he returns very anticlimactically. So, I guess we'll see where they go with him now. But I don't like how anticlimactic it was with his return here after it being such a huge story in 2022. But really, that's all to talk about here with Shortland Street, because it was only on for a week and a half in January. Still one of the better soap operas, though. Despite only being on for a week and a half, it was some of the best drama from any other soap operas in these rankings. So Shortland Street still high in my rankings and at second place.